Welcome back to another episode of Crime Salad, your go-to source for intriguing crime stories. Make sure you subscribe to stay updated with all our latest episodes. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Ricky.
And let's dive into it.
Let's do it.
So the story that we are covering this week involves a recent case. A daughter named Carly Gregg, age 14, her mother Ashley Smylie, and stepdad Heath Smylie, and the moments that led up to a day that changed many lives on March 19th, 2024 in Brandon, Mississippi. On this particular day, Heath Smylie, the stepdad, age 39, was still at work when he received a text message that read, "When will you be home, honey?" This message was sent from his wife's phone, and he texted back with the message that he will be home a little later than usual. So he was finishing things up at work before going home where the three of them lived. Their home was secured with a few surveillance cameras. One camera was located in the kitchen corner, capturing the kitchen with a brief part of the exit leading to the living room or hallway. Another camera was installed inside the garage, positioned against the wall and aimed looking out towards the garage door. How this camera was positioned, you would be able to see some of the driveway where Heath would park his vehicle once he came home from work. Additionally, there was a Ring camera at the front door monitoring the entrance. Now, the camera captured Heath pulling into his usual parking spot, capturing the side of his blue truck in front of the garage, and there was already a car parked inside the garage. That was Ashley's car. He casually gets out of his vehicle, almost takes a pause, and continues to walk into the garage. He takes off his shoes, not aware of the horror he would walk into. And as he opens the door leading into the home, he is surprised by flashing lights of a gunshot. Now, just so you can visualize the layout of this home, the door in the garage that leads to the inside of the home first enters the small area where the laundry room is, and as you walk further, you would be in the kitchen. When Heath opened the door, he quickly realized that the flashing lights coming at him are actually gunshots. In a panic, he grabs the muzzle of the gun, surprised to see his stepdaughter Carly intentionally shooting at him. They wrestle over the gun while two more shots go off, and Heath is shot in the neck, upper shoulder area. Heath later explains that Carly wasn't her normal self. She was screaming, and she looked as if she saw a demon or something and was saying something, but it just didn't make sense. Once he gets the gun off Carly, she falls onto her butt on the kitchen floor, gets back up, and takes off running outside. And a friend of hers is following her. Heath knew something bad had happened when she took off running so fast. He had just been shot by her stepdaughter. What in the world is going on, and where is Ashley, his wife?
I wonder what his first thoughts were, though. Was this like a self-defense situation? Was she scared? I doubt he thought she was trying to murder him.
Yeah, and that's what crossed his mind. So he frantically checks over the place, checking over his bedroom, the bathroom, the closets, the spare room in his house, expecting to find an intruder, while calling out his wife's name because her car is at the house. He knew that she was home. But Ashley, his wife, wasn't answering. No one appeared to be there. He went into Carly's room, and there he found his wife, Ashley Smylie, who was on Carly's bedroom floor. Her arms were crossed over her body. There's blood everywhere, and covering her face was a blood-soaked towel. Pulling back the bloody towel, it was apparent that Ashley had been shot on the right side of her face, and he couldn't feel a pulse. Heath, in an absolute panic, calls 911, which occurred sometime after 5 p.m., and frantically explains to the dispatcher in a high-pitched voice, which sounded like a complete mix of shock and terror, that he has been shot and he just discovered his wife dead on the floor, and his stepdaughter ran off after shooting at him. Police arrive fairly quickly, and of course their body cam footage captures the moments when police find Heath and they tend to him first. Thankfully, he's fine, and he's able to give the first responders some insight as to who did this and what was going on.
But he was shot, right? He got shot in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So she shot the gun, hit him in the neck. Does he like go down or did he stay up? Like obviously Carly ran away and then he continued on to investigate to obviously find his wife. But is it just a miracle that he didn't collapse or die or whatever? Like obviously he was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be something like that because he didn't die immediately and they were able to tend to him and, you know, make sure he was okay.
Right. Like he was able to call the police.
Yeah. And so he explains to the police that he came through the door and his stepdaughter starts shooting at him. And he started to calm down a bit while he was put on the stretcher once the ambulance came. And he said he doesn't know what's going on. During this time, he also stated that Carly's biological father was causing some trouble with Ashley. And he stated that he's on drugs. Now, later in court, this was all described that there was some visitation disagreements between him and Ashley regarding Carly. But if this had something to do with Carly's actions, it's not very clear.
Right.
And I mean, you got to think at the time, a lot is going through his mind. He's trying to piece together why Carly would do this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, she shot her own mother. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, something huge happened here.
Yeah. Carly, she is on the run at this point, and they begin to search for her. Now, keep in mind, she is a 14-year-old girl, and right now, everyone is trying to make sense of what happened. Was there a possible intruder, or was she the suspect? What in the world happened? Officers send a helicopter to overlook the area to try to find Carly. However, it's a police officer who is driving around who locates her standing on the side of the road after she had just crawled out of a drain pipe. It was stated by the officer that she appeared soaked in water, and it was obvious that she was trying to hide and just run away from what just happened. However, she was placed in the back of the officer's police cruiser. They did a swab on her hands and her arms for gun residue, which was sent in for testing.
Okay, so obviously she was hiding and they found her, but how long was she actually on the run?
So it took them about 30 minutes to locate her once they arrived at the home.
Okay, so she didn't really hide that long. Like, obviously she went into a drain pipe and got wet or whatever. Like, what made her come out?
Well, I don't think she knew what to do. She was about a half a mile away. And once she was taken into custody, the first thing she asked was, "Is my stepdad okay?" And the officer didn't give her any information on that, but never once did she ask about her mom, like if her mom was okay.
Right. It makes you wonder. I mean, obviously she probably assumes that her mother is dead, but it's weird that she's asking about the dad or the stepdad.
Yeah, and this was interesting to them. They definitely notated this, and they quickly discovered that there wasn't an intruder at all. Carly was the only one home, along with her mother who was shot. And soon they found out after she fired 3 shots, killing her mother sometime after that, Carly texted a friend asking if they wanted to see a dead body. And well, that friend came over.
Wow. That's like some Stand By Me type stuff. Like, dude, you want to come see a dead body? But what's crazy is like, this is her mom. This isn't just some like random person.
Yeah, it's her mother. Her mother's dead body. Like, she just shot and killed her mom, who's lying on her bedroom floor, covered in blood.
And to already be so desensitized by it.
Yeah. Now, once the detectives got a closer look at the security cameras that were fixed in the kitchen and elsewhere, it was apparent that this wasn't an intruder situation. Carly was seen walking to and from the kitchen at the time, and the 2 dogs in the room were curious as to what she was doing. At one time, she was holding something behind her back, purposely hiding whatever she had from the camera. But with what unfolds, we know it's a gun. She's seen leaving the kitchen, so we don't see her, but it looks like she makes a turn down to the bedrooms, and you hear 3 gunshots going off with a mix of screaming. The dogs are seen freaking out and curiously looking down the hallway and pacing the kitchen floor. And Carly walks back into the kitchen very casually and sits on a stool and places the gun on her seat so it would be behind her. And she looks at her phone and she's texting, it appears. This was the moment when the police put the pieces together, that she used her mother's phone to text Heath, "When will you be home, honey?" luring her stepdad, who would be her next victim, as her mom, who was on her bedroom floor, was bleeding out.
What's weird here, though, is she knew that there were surveillance cameras. Okay, so she knows that they're in the kitchen, the living room, whatever. But she had enough clarity to use her mom's phone to kind of lure her stepdad to the house. So it's like she's clear enough to say, okay, these are the next steps. But also, there's cameras all through the house. And then she did nothing about it either.
Like
right?
She didn't disconnect the cameras?
Right. She didn't disconnect the cameras. She didn't think anything about it. Like, was she even thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. However, after she shot her mother, she ended up removing the cameras at some point, and she placed them in the refrigerator with the SD card, the memory card, inside the camera.
Oh, I didn't know about that. So
but afterwards.
But like in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Now, at the time of the incident, Carly, if you remember, was 14 years old, very young. And she was just about to turn 15 from when this all happened. The gun belonged to her mother, Ashley Smylie, where she kept this gun in her room. And those who would describe Carly would agree that this all seemed so unlike her. She was quickly recognized as a very intelligent child in her early years. She was also considered gifted and skipped 4th grade, so super smart kid. She loved school and animals and was all around a great kid. She was named Student of the Year at one point and had a lot ahead of her.
Like the bar was set so high for her. Could it have been the pressure?
Like we said, her mother, Ashley Smylie, was very smart, and her stepdad, Heath, even expressed this in court, testifying that Ashley was a teacher. She excelled in technology, mathematics. She was a great role model for Carly, and she loved her daughter. She was her world. So yeah, it kind of seems like the bar was set very high.
Was she the only child?
She was the only child. However, Ashley and Kevin, the biological father, when they were married, they had a child after Carly named Natalie. However, due to a genetic disorder, she passed away. That left Carly as their only living child, who was really described as their world. Ashley would do anything for Carly and strive to give her the best life that she could. Her ex-husband, Kevin, explained that the dynamic between Ashley and Carly changed to where her mom tended to be more controlling, and the biological father, Kevin, hinted that this could have had some kind of effect on Carly.
Yeah, I could see that.
However, the stepdad, Heath, explained that Ashley and Carly's relationship was a close one, describing that they were inseparable. Now, there were times that they had to be strict parents. This included taking her phone away as punishment. At night, their rule was no phones at bedtime, being that it would most likely keep her awake. So the phone would either be in their room or in the kitchen throughout the night. Heath admitted to keeping a close watch on Carly's phone as well, making sure that she wasn't using certain apps like TikTok and keeping tabs on who she was communicating with. They once found that Carly was keeping an iPod in her room that the parents weren't aware of, and apparently her biological father taught her how to message on it and stuff like that as a loophole from the overprotecting factors of her mother and her stepfather. So her iPad or iPod, Heath explained that they found Carly using TikTok, etc.
Okay, makes sense.
Heath described Carly would come home from her dad's and tell her mom how her dad had drugs all over the house and how he continuously smoked, even blowing smoke in her face, and had her drink a beer when she was 12. Because of these things, Ashley was trying to decrease the amount of visitation Carly had between her and her father, while Kevin Gregg denied it ever being as bad as Ashley described. Carly's biological father claims that when she was about 12 years old, her father decided to let Carly visit if she wanted to. So really, Carly hadn't talked to him or seen him in over a year. Kevin expressed that he was pretty much left in the dark since Carly shot and killed her mother. However, sources stated that he chose not to cooperate with the defense. He doesn't seem to know any specifics and wasn't there to testify. While Carly was held in jail, she was able to contact him by phone, and it was surprising to Kevin when he got that first call from Carly because she hadn't spoke to her dad in over a year, and now he gets this call and she's in jail.
I feel like it would be interesting to hear his side of the story. From what he knew and the relationship that Carly had with him, like that type of stuff.
Yeah. Now, he wasn't seen in court, and it was described that he wasn't willing to help with this case at all. However, after Carly's trial for the murder of her mother, Ashley Smylie, he was invited to speak on a local news station and agreed because he wanted to get some answers as well. And he unpacked a lot of information that could maybe have been useful, but really he paints himself as a victim in a way. More than his ex-wife, who is now dead. Just the vibe I got. He stated he didn't get to watch the full trial. However, he said he may be biased, but he feels that Carly's defense team didn't support her the way that they should have, and that they left some things out, like the controlling factors of her mother. And he went on to describe that she tried to control every aspect of the custody battle, and basically put the blame on Ashley. Like, this is the whole reason why all of this occurred. However, what he didn't mention is how there were past records that state there was domestic abuse happening while Ashley was married to him, living with Kevin, and also domestic abuse against Carly.
Also, wasn't he described as like a narcissist?
Yeah, a lot of people describe him as that. Now, during this interview, Kevin was asked if he was diagnosed with any mental conditions, and he agreed that he was diagnosed by a few doctors to have bipolar disorder, but also said that Carly is far more intelligent than he or Ashley ever were, and that the decisions she made to kill her mother would not have been something related to mental conditions because she was very sure of things. The person interviewing him also brought up the abuse towards Carly and Ashley, but he didn't really respond to that, and he said one morning Ashley left in the middle of the night and took Carly, so the reason why she left he never touched on.
Which again, he kind of made himself the victim there.
Yeah, but he also mentioned briefly about Heath, Ashley's new husband, and said that he has nothing against him, but heard from Carly that Ashley would run the show and Heath didn't have a backbone. He never stood up for himself. He also mentioned Bridget Todd, one of Carly's defense attorneys, pointing out that this is the same person who allegedly was attacking him in court relating to the custody battle before Ashley was killed. And he made this realization when she texted him regarding Carly's case and recognized the name. Now, just a reminder, this interview went public after Carly had been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So why is he willing to speak up now? It also makes me wonder what parts are actually true or more exaggerated, because he just seems kind of like all over the place in this interview.
Yeah.
And after this interview went public, this pushed Carly Gregg's defense team to try to get an appeal on Carly's sentence, claiming that there's been new evidence discovered that was not available during her trial. The trial included discussions surrounding Carly's mental health. One of Carly's doctors mentioned that she was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and adjustment disorder. She denied experiencing any hallucinations or delusions while talking with this doctor. However, there was testimony about Carly possibly experiencing a psychotic break and hearing voices. Although this wasn't confirmed by any experts, only her defense suggested this. And supposedly, at some point in the interview with Kevin Gregg, he mentions that Carly had suicidal ideations at a young age and was involved in therapy. Her defense felt like they had a good case because they mentioned the things like the mental conditions that Carly was experiencing or had experienced in the past, thinking for sure that they would get a hung jury. They also suggested that her change in medication could have intensified her mental health issues. They pointed to the use of her medications like Celexa and Abilify, which they claimed were stabilizing her condition. However, the prosecution challenged the defense's claim of insanity, arguing that Carly knew right from wrong and that her actions were calculated. And the jury ultimately leaned toward the prosecution's side. Now, with the mental health conditions being a possibility put on the side, it was also discussed in court that the incident leading to the shooting was triggered when Carly Gregg's mother, Ashley Smylie, found boxes of vape pens in Carly's room, and actual vape pens, some of which contained marijuana, which was presented by the prosecution as a catalyst for the crime. And this all unfolded in Carly's bedroom and led to the tragic event of Ashley Smylie being murdered and soon found dead in Carly's bedroom covered in blood.
Honestly, if that is the motive, and the motive is as simple as, getting caught with weed pens or whatever, like, it's sad that she thought it had to come to that. But like, in reality, it's such a simple thing. It's not even a big deal, right? I mean, this is something maybe you get punished for the summer, or you can't have sleepovers, or something like that. And it all came down to, I have to get rid of this problem.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really know what exactly happened, what kind of family life Carly really had, or what was going through Carly's head at all. Like, those are just things that we may never know.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Now, after Carly had shot and killed her mother, she waited around for her stepdad, Heath, to come home, even luring him to the house, pretending to be his wife by texting him on Ashley's phone. And while waiting around, Carly invited a friend inside and allegedly asked the friend if they wanted to see a dead body. We know that this friend was there when Heath came home and was shot by Carly because the surveillance camera that was located in the garage, Carly was seen running out the side gate, running across the driveway in front of the garage, and a friend of hers was running behind, following Carly.
Wow.
Now, whether it's believed that Carly was in a state of psychosis at the time, or there was some true intention behind all of this, Carly was convicted of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and tampering with evidence, and received a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Wow. The fact that she pretended to be her mom, right, and sending the messages to the stepdad, trying to, basically set him up to kill him or shoot him, feels very sinister. Like, that seems like you're very aware of what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things too. Like, Carly knew that the cameras were in the kitchen because she was intentionally hiding the gun behind her while she's walking past the camera.
Right. Yeah, and she even sat down after the fact. I think it was after the fact, and she's sitting on that chair and she kind of has the gun like behind her back. You never really see it. Yeah,
and then she doesn't destroy the camera. She doesn't get rid of the memory card. She just puts it in the fridge. So it's very weird behavior.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this is just a tragic story all the way around. A mother was lost. A child at the age of 14 is now spending the rest of her life in prison. It may get appealed, but we don't know yet. There's just so much to it. It's just so tragic. And, what a shame.
So I remember, I'm not sure if I read this or just saw a TikTok, but was it the stepdad or the real dad? Someone in court kind of blew her a kiss or winked at her or something like that. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, it was Heath, the stepdad. And
okay.
It looked like he mouthed, "I love you."
Right.
When he was about to testify.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like smiled, which came off as strange to a lot of people because they're like, that was weird. Like,
right.
You know, but.
So is that maybe a sign that he feels like, one, he doesn't blame her or he's forgiven her?
Maybe.
Or maybe that he even thinks that the insanity plea might have been the correct one.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm sure, through all of this, he still loves her because,
Yeah.
He helped raise her and take care of her. So it's just like, what do you do?
Yeah, it is a hard one. I think it makes it more sad. The fact that, his heart is broken. Obviously, he lost his wife, but his heart is also broken. He's losing his stepdaughter.
Yeah. And she shot at him,
mm-hmm.
And tried to kill him, could have killed him.
Right.
And through all that, he still is like, "I love you." Now, I'll go ahead and read Ashley Nicole Smylie's obituary. Well, part of it. It states, Ashley Nicole Smylie, 40, passed away Tuesday, March 19th at her home in Brandon. She was born April 11th, 1983 in Stuart, Florida. Ashley was always a Floridian at heart. She loved to travel, especially enjoyed sharing Florida's beaches and Disney World with her family. She taught in the mathematics department of Northwest Rankin High School and was gifted in mathematics, technology, and the arts. She enjoyed reading and spending time with her family, be it lounging and playing video games or taking her golden retrievers, Wyatt and Finn, on long walks. Ashley was a wonderful wife, daughter, sister, teacher, and friend. But more than anything, Ashley was a devoted mother. She loved being a mother more than anything. Her strength and compassion throughout her life were and continue to be an inspiration to all who knew her. The obituary also read that the family requests that donations be made to Cure SMA in Ashley's honor in lieu of flowers. And that's the end of this case. Now, before we jump off here, Ricky, do you got any positive reviews that you'd like to share?
Actually, we have a few.
Ooh.
One of them I'm going to read right now.
All right, let's hear it.
Now, I can't say the username because it's not very appropriate.
What is it? Now I'm interested.
The first word is ball, and the last word is sack.
Okay, what does it say?
It says, attention, 5 stars. This podcast will grasp your attention and keep you wanting more. I love how they get right to the story and provide all of the information. It keeps me entertained during work, etc., and I really enjoy listening. Thank you for respecting the victims and their families. This podcast is the best.
Oh my gosh, that is just so heartwarming.
That's very sweet of you, Ballsack.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Balls Sack 69.
Are you serious?
I swear.
How does somebody make a username on Apple, though? Like, I don't understand how that works.
I think you can use a nickname.
Really?
I think you can pick a nickname.
I never understood that because I felt like it was always just like automatically generated. But
it might be his email, too.
Oh, God.
Ballsack.
It's probably like, why can't I ever get a job?
at gmail.com.
I think that's a good one to end this episode.
I do, too.
Positive vibes. Thank you for sending the positive vibes. We appreciate it so much. It means so much to us, really. And me and Ricky and I, we're human. We're 2 people, just living it up.
Living. I don't know if we're living it up.
I don't know if we're living it up, but, we're half awake anyways.
Two humans living.
Half awake, one eye's closed, the other one's, aware.
All right.
Yeah, that's everything. See you next week.